breaking news, breaking news. The Eagles are going to need another wide receiver, and this may just be a blessing in disguise. You make the way, kick Dingbat here, and breaking news, breaking mother humping news. The Eagles are going to need a wide receiver, but I don't care what anybody says. This is going to be possibly a blessing in disguise if the Eagles take advantage of this. Now, you're probably saying, we had breaking news earlier today, Philly, with Cooper DeJean, the flying Frenchman, said, bon, what could possibly be going on right now? Well, let me tell you. Adam Schefter has just reported that after 9 NFL mother-humping seasons, Eagles wide receiver DeVante Parker has decided to retire, he said Monday night. As much as he looked forward to his time with the Eagles, Parker decided the time had come to spend more time with his family. That includes his 4 children. Quote, I want to see my kids, spend quality time with them, Parker said. I want to be there for them whenever I can. The 31-year-old Parker is walking away from the NFL and looks forward to whatever is next, though he has no definite short-term professional plans. I'm just going to take things slowly, Parker said. He finishes his career with 369 catches, 5,266 yards, and 27 touchdowns. Now, let me say this about DeVante Parker real quick. I want to wish him nothing but the best. Congratulations to him on his retirement. I think in the prime of his career, he was a guy that I was actually hoping would somehow wiggle free, and then maybe the Eagles could get him on the cheap or something like that. Very talented guy, but clearly he lost a couple steps. I mean, it was clear as day. And one of the things one of the things that I have complained about in terms of this offseason, or haven't been totally satisfied, is I haven't really liked what they've done at the wide receiver position, minus the DeVonta Smith extension, and then the A.J. Brown extension, and then the Ainias Smith pick. I like that. But in terms of letting Quez Watkins go and then replacing him, I feel like they really hadn't done enough there. And I actually think that this situation with DeVante Parker could be a huge blessing in disguise. Potentially, because I think they'll look to add another wide receiver. Now, I'll say this. A lot of people assumed that he was going to be the 3rd wide receiver. I don't think that was the case. I don't see Parker being in the slot. I never did. I saw him as a backup to one of the outside wide receivers, and that's where they would use him. However, he did take up a roster spot, and it was pretty much free game because the Patriots were actually like paying us to take him. So we didn't have to give up that much. But with DeVante Parker exiting now, I think the Eagles are going to probably look to get another receiver. And this would give us, or opens the door potentially, to maybe getting somebody that could really play that slot wide receiver. Now, I'm going to say this. I am rooting 1,000% for Ainias Smith to win the job. I want him to come in as a rookie, be the slot wide receiver, and go, be used similar to Debo. We've heard so much about how he is going to be like Debo Samuel, or he has similar qualities with his ability to run after the catch and things like that. So I want him to win the slot job. But I do think that the Eagles really, they could upgrade that spot. They could do better than DeVante Parker and Paris Campbell. Now, I don't dislike Paris Campbell. I think he's got a lot of speed. I liked him coming out of college. But we've got a wide open spot at the receiver. Now, will the Eagles look to replace DeVante Parker with somebody similar to him that can play just on the outside as a backup? Or will they look, I don't know, a guy like a Hunter Renfrow who's still out there, and try to bring somebody like that in and let them compete in the slot? it's going to be fascinating to watch. Now, with DeVante Parker not being there anymore, it really opens up the wide receiver position for competition, even more competition than we were already going to have. Here's what we have on our roster currently. Zach Berman put this. We got A.J. Brown, 26 years old. DeVante Smith, 25 years old. Paris Campbell, 26 years old. My gosh, Paris Campbell's younger. He's a lot younger than I thought, man. I don't know why I always thought he was like 28, 29. But, he's 26. Ainias Smith, 22 years old. That's the guy we got to root for. Johnny Wilson, 23. Now, Johnny Wilson's a fascinating guy because he is 6'6", and if he has a chance to develop, he could be a huge threat. He's a guy that we should try to get in on red zone situations and things like that. We just have to see where he's really at. Britton Covey, 27. And according to Zach Berman, did you know Britton Covey, Crash Test Covey, is now our oldest wide receiver on the team? He's actually older than A.J. Brown. That's crazy. Joseph Nagata, 27. He showed like he had some talent in camp, but right now we don't know. Austin Watkins, 26. Shaq Davis, 24, and Jacob Harris. So when you really look at the wide receiver position that we have here, you have A.J. Brown, DeVante Smith are definite studs. They're studs. Then after that, Ainias Smith, I think, has got the most upside, and that's not named DeVante Smith or A.J. Brown. And then, Crash Test Covey, I have thought for a few years that they should give him some opportunities in the slot. I don't know that's going to happen, and I don't even know where he is going to fit in making the roster now that you have guys that can return the kick. So it's going to be interesting to see. If you look at this, you figure A.J. Brown, DeVante Smith are your starters. Probably going into camp right now, you would think Paris Campbell's probably the starting slot wide receiver. Now, he had 1 year where he had like 63 catches for 500-something yards. I'm not saying he can't do it, but I don't know. I think if there are other options, we should look for it. Now, remember, they brought John Ross in to work out with the rookies during rookie minicamp. They gave him an invite. There hasn't been any signing of him. They've never signed him. Will they do that now? We will see. But this receiving core for the Eagles, I really think is a little thin. I think it's a little thin, and I think the Eagles losing DeVante Parker will look to get somebody who has some experience out there. It's just, I'm not sure that they're going to do it for the slot. I think they're going to look for another outside guy to back up A.J. Brown, DeVante Smith. Here's what I want to see. I want to see Ainias Smith come in and win in the slot, okay? I also want to see them get Johnny Wilson and develop him and work with him and take advantage of his size, man, and figure a way to do that. Now, the thing with a guy like Johnny Wilson is I don't know how quickly he is going to be available to really play this year. I see him more of a guy that you keep on your roster and then you go ahead and develop him. And then maybe in like a year, he does some damage and you look for him. I think, they got Watkins. Watkins is an interesting name. He's flashed before. We've got to see what he's going to be now that he's with the Eagles. So, listen, it's a very interesting situation here. My hope is that because DeVante Parker retired, and I wish him nothing but the best, that maybe this will end up being a benefit to us because now we're going to have to go out and we'll actually get a receiver who's actually better than DeVante Parker was. And DeVante Parker, not talking about him in his prime, but him the last few years, because I think DeVante Parker, I think he was shot. I think he was just done. And the fact that he retired makes me only believe that much more. But we have an interesting spot open at the wide receiver position. And here's the thing. The Eagles probably look at it like this. We got DeVante Smith. We got A.J. Brown, we got Dallas Goedert, we got Saquon Barkley. How are we going to get all these guys the ball? Do we really need to go get a slot receiver who's really, really good and pay him a lot of money? They probably figure, no, we don't. But we get a guy like Paris Campbell on the cheap with speed, and he can give a defense, that threat of the speed in the slot like they wanted with Watkins. They probably think that's all they need. I think Ainias Smith, if I had to project right now, I think he ends up winning the slot wide receiver position by some point this season. It may not be week 1 or 2, but I think Ainias Smith will end up being your slot wide receiver. I also think that the Eagles will probably bring in another receiver now. Who that could be, I have no idea. Hunter Renfrow comes to mind. But the way I think it will work is like this. The Eagles will come into training camp, and they will go through the preseason and all that stuff, and they'll kind of see how things work out, see what they like. If Paris Campbell isn't impressing them or they don't feel that they got a lot, maybe that's when they make a move. If Ainias Smith seems like he's not ready to play right away and is going to need some time to develop, then maybe they make a move. There's no rush to do it, but I still think you need to add another veteran wide receiver. I think this is going to end up being a blessing in disguise, one way or the other, for the Eagles. But the latest is DeVante Parker retires without ever taking a snap for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. With that said, take care. I will talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. Dallas still stinks.
An extra 15 yards. That was some bullshit ass call. 32 yards and they call it back? No, man. See, you're just stupid. Don't come on my channel with stupid shit. 14 seconds left to go. Oh my God, I'm sweating like a pig. Oh my God, here we go. Going way down the field, and it. Yes. Oh, there's a flag. There's a flag.
Of course. They killing me, bro.
Damn.
You're killing me, man. I am done, bro.
Obviously brought in a Cooks and you bring in a Gilmore. It makes it hard for some of these guys to come in and play and beat those guys out. Obviously, there's going to be some opportunity. And, we do have some guys who didn't play for us last year. An Overshown, a John Stevens, who was on his way to making this team before he tore his ACL. You have a Diggs who you didn't get to play. You didn't see play but a couple of games.